The word philanthropy refers to private actions for the public good. The word comes from the ancient Greek word philanthropia, which means to love humanity. It was used to describe an act of giving time or money to someone in need. Wealthy citizens in ancient Rome would also give money and time to help their fellow citizens. They wanted to make their city a better place to live. The key element here is that the action is taken by an individual or a private group, and not by a corporation or the government. Over the years, I've filmed a number of stories about philanthropy. On June 24, 1859, in the fields outside the Italian town of Solferino, the last battle of the Franco-Austrian War took place. On the evening of the same day that the battle took place, a Swiss businessman from Geneva named Henri Dunant arrived in Solferino. He saw 25,000 men lying on the battlefield, wounded and dying, and absolutely nobody there to help them in any way. He was so shocked by what he saw that he began organizing the local population to help the men, no matter which side they were on. He used his own money to buy the materials to build a number of makeshift hospitals, and women of the local village coined the phrase, tutti fratelli, we are all brothers and sisters. When Dunant returned to Geneva, he began developing an idea for a neutral organization that would provide care to the sick and wounded. That concept became the International Red Cross and Red Crescent, and Dunant became the first recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. These days, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies is the world's largest humanitarian organization, providing assistance without discrimination as to nationality, race, religious beliefs, class, or political opinions. The Maya had a deep respect for education, and that tradition is being reborn in modern Guatemala. Sergio Paz Andrade was born in Guatemala in 1948. His specialty in business was finance. His specialty in life was his family and his love of the people of Guatemala. Sergio believed that the biggest treasure Guatemala has can be found in the intellectual capacity of its people, and it is a treasure that can only be extracted through education. Philanthropy is a nonprofit foundation that was formed to uncover and activate that treasure. Their primary focus is on technology, to give these children the essential technical skills that would make them competitive in today's and, even more important, tomorrow's world.
So she's going through the list of assigned homework?
Salvador Paz is Sergio's son and a president of Philanthropy. He has a business degree from the University of Pennsylvania and a master's degree from MIT. But instead of going to work for a major corporation in the United States, he returned home to Guatemala to see what he could do for his country.
It's the way that kids today engage. They want something that interests them, and technology does that. It's really changing the way that they're learning. It's providing new and interesting tools that allow them to really learn better, faster, more comprehensively.
There are over 3 million children in Guatemala between the ages of 6 and 15, and they attend 18,000 public schools. Sadly, 93% of those students don't have access to the technology that would be essential for their most modest level of success in the 21st century. But Philanthropy is changing that.
And I can honestly say, A, that we're having a tremendous difference and making a tremendous impact on the lives of these kids and improving the quality of their education. And the second thing I would say is we're creating that impact with not a huge budget.
Benjamin Franklin was a devoted philanthropist. Franklin promoted the idea that each person should give to advance the common good at a level that was commensurate to their means. On this subject, Franklin once said, "The poor have little, beggars none, the rich too much, enough not one." George Peabody was born in 1795 in Danvers, Massachusetts. He was born into a family of modest means, without family connections or formal education. He achieved international success as an investment banker in London. He provided quality homes and established programs to help the poor. He's considered by many to be the founder of modern philanthropy. Between 2019 and 2022, Mackenzie Scott donated over $14 billion to roughly 1,600 nonprofits. She's currently the 56th wealthiest individual in the world, with a net worth of $24.4 billion. Scott acquired her wealth from her share in Amazon, which was founded by her ex-husband, Jeff Bezos. For over 40 years, I've had the same job, researching the history and culture of a particular city or country, writing a script to cover the research, collecting my film crew, filming and editing the story into a television program, and presenting the program on public television in the United States and international networks around the world. As part of that work, I've spent a considerable amount of time filming stories in Taiwan. Its geography, its history, its culture, and its food. While I was looking into the history of Taiwan, I came across an organization that is devoted to philanthropy. It's called the YP Foundation. It's a private family foundation created by Wang Yongqing and his wife Li Pao Chu. Wang was the founder of a successful Taiwanese conglomerate. The YP Foundation was started by Li Pao Chu, and for the past 50 years she has directed the foundation's activities. She's always kept a low profile. However, the Emperor's Dark Blue Ribbon Award is of particular significance, and having it awarded to an individual rather than an organization is of considerable importance. Kids Alive is a temporary safe house for children who have been through family trauma. They live there and have their own place for work and play. A daily lunchbox is delivered, and they can stay at the safe house until they go off to university.
我没见过他，但是他来的时候，我一直有跟他道歉，说抱歉。
Danielle Liu is the national director of Kids Alive and oversees its activities. He pointed out that the family is constantly and directly involved in the foundation's activities. These are what two old houses looked like before the YP Foundation started repairing them. And this is the old house after the repairs were made by the foundation. The foundation set up the workshop to help families with children who have special needs. It gives the family some break time. In Taiting, many children were raised by grandparents who can't always handle the physical demands made by young kids. The foundation set up these after-school groups to keep the kids on track and away from dangerous situations. One of their activities is centered in Dallas, Texas.
And so the idea came about that, hey, what if we provide vehicles for people who can really use it, use a little help in getting a free vehicle that's reliable, economical to operate, kind of all in the vein of the YP Foundation's mantra of kindness and compassion. We hope to engage with the local community, like the schools or the churches, where young men or women who want to learn some auto mechanic skills, they can come here, help us to work on the cars, to be donated to folks that can use the help.
I thought as long as we are in Taiwan, I'd give you a look at Taipei. It's the country's capital city. The first Europeans to get a look at Taiwan were the Portuguese. And as soon as they saw it, they called it the beautiful island, Ilha Formosa. In 1590, they arrived and set up a trading settlement on the north coast. The next Europeans to turn up were the Dutch, who built their center on the southwest coast. The Spanish and the English also saw Taiwan as a great place to do business. So did the emperors on mainland China and Japan. Taiwan has always been open for business. Most people spend their days working, which leaves their nights free for shopping. As a result, the cities of Taiwan have some of the world's most interesting night markets. The vendors pay little rent, which allows them to offer lower prices than traditional shops. The markets sprawl out over dozens of streets, opening at 7 p.m. and going on until sunup. They offer lots of different things: clothing, shoes, watches, and they're always jam-packed with vendors. Chen Hong is the host of a popular local television program about food and my guide to the market. Every time I come by here, there's a long line. What are they doing here?
Yeah, we waiting to pepper cat. Pepper cat.
Pepper cat.
Cat.
Like a pussy cat.
Yes.
Okay. That's pork.
That pork mix the pepper and spring onion.
And they roll it in like a dough.
Yes.
Everybody loves it. It's a big deal.
Yes. The smell is very good.
Right. And they cook it in like an Indian oven.
Yes, very same, but the smell is different.
Very good taste.
You like it?
I like it.
Yes, me too.
What's this?
Tomato.
Tomatoes.
Tomato.
That's tomatoes too?
Is
Fried.
Fried. Yes.
Fried tomato, fresh tomatoes and fried tomatoes.
Yes.
What are the stones for?
Stone.
Just for like good luck?
No good luck for massage.
Ah. I feel better already. What is she doing?
The fried tempura. Tempura is Japanese food. The seafood to mix.
Oh yes, it's all like a puree of seafood.
Yes, then to fry it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, very sweet.
And what are they cooking here?
Shabu shabu.
Shabu shabu, I
Shabu
know. Okay. I always remember that for 50 years,
Yeah.
Taiwan was controlled by the Japanese.
Yes.
So there's a lot of
Mixed.
Japanese influence
Yes.
there all of the time. A small candy store?
Flour tea.
Oh, these are to make tea. What are these?
Rose.
Roses.
Dry rose. You can mix dry lemon and this
And ginger?
Ginger, yes, you can try this one.
I put this in the wine.
Yes.
绍兴.
Yes.
I didn't say it right. But
整肠健胃，帮助消化。Next, I recommend this one, the seafood soup.
seafood soup.
Yes, seafood soup. This seafood is very fresh. So today's seafood to use the soup mix very fresh.
The stuff that's here, is this special night market food or people eat it all the time?
Yes,
All the time.
all the time. In here, you have the 30 years ago already.
Would you make this food at home?
Yes,
You would.
yes.
Okay. Very interesting. Taipei is the capital city of Taiwan and one of the world's major economic centers, which means that every major international retailer has a store. But there's very little point in buying something in Taipei that you can get in your hometown. You want to take advantage of what's unique to the country. For traditional Chinese items, you can visit Section 1 of Diwa Street. The shops carry all kinds of dried foods and Chinese herbs, equipment, and crafts. This section of Taipei offers a nice contrast to the modern areas of the city. The buildings date from the late 1800s and often display architectural details that indicate what's for sale inside. The ginseng roots surrounding the top window tell you that this is an herbal shop. If you'd like to take home something that is both very Chinese and unique, you can get yourself a chop. A chop is an essential piece of equipment in Chinese culture. During my first visit to Taiwan, which was in the early 90s, I was given a Chinese name. They wanted it to sound like my English name, but also have special meaning. My last name became Wu. Sounds like wolf, but it's associated with storytellers, and because I was a journalist, they decided I was a storyteller. My first name became Boda, so Wu Boda is my name, and it's close enough for government work. As soon as I got my name, I got a chop, which is a block of material with your name engraved on the base. You put it into a little red ink, and then you stamp it on whatever document needs your official signature. Pretty cool. Name chops date back thousands of years to a time when most Chinese were illiterate and needed a simple form of identification. Even though today 93% of Taiwanese are literate, the tradition continues. Without a chop, it is difficult to enter into a legally binding contract. It's used for bank accounts, safe deposit boxes, even land sales. Engravers work with many different materials: wood, plastic, stone, metal, and jade. You might also enjoy a visit to the weekend antique market. Every Saturday and Sunday, hundreds of vendors set up small tables and offer their stuff. It's virtually impossible to tell if you are looking at a rare and valuable object or just something that is being cleared out of somebody's closet. Where's the Antique Roadshow guys when you need them? Anyway, there's lots of stuff here, and all prices are subject to bargaining. You could always talk your way into a 10 to 30% discount. I was particularly interested in the jade area. Since the 11th century, the Chinese have worshipped the Jade Emperor. And when they started mining jade commercially in the 1700s, it became the country's most precious stone. Jade is usually thought of as a green stone, but it's also found in white, red, yellow, and lavender. The most highly prized jade is a clear emerald green, and it comes in a variety of shapes. Jade in any form is worn for good luck. Taiwan is also motor scooter heaven. So many people here own motorbikes and motor scooters that you'll find a wider selection of equipment in Taiwan than just about any other place in the world.
Taiwan makes lots of motorcycles and scooters, and they make lots of aftermarket parts for your scooter or motorcycle. So I came here to get some things to make my bike cool and different. I'm going to get a muffler, I'm going to get a cool iridescent windscreen, maybe some lights and some metallic parts to put on the bike to make it original.
In my somewhat misspent youth, I was a serious biker. Not quite in the class with the guys in the American Chopper television series, but I was heading there. For a somewhat more refined shopping experience, you can stop into Art Asia, a shop that carries fine Asian art and antiques.
This gallery is quite special in Taiwan in that it sells not just Chinese antiques, but antiques from all over Asia. So I have in my gallery Indian art, Indonesian art, Cambodian art, Burmese art, and even art from Africa. I think this is possible because the Taiwanese are very open-minded to other cultures. Perhaps this is from their Japanese influence, and perhaps because Taiwan is an island, they are very curious about other countries.
The traditional Chinese calendar is based on the movement of the moon. The fifth day of the fifth lunar month, which usually falls during the western months of June or July, is the date of the Dragon Boat Festival. The festival comes with a magnificent story. In the year 300 AD, there was a great poet, much beloved by the people, who was also an advisor to an emperor who was not so much beloved by the people. He got so fed up with the incompetence of the government that he took a big rock, held it tight to his chest, and jumped into the river. The people rushed to the river to try and save him, but it was too late. Then they tried to find his remains to give him a proper burial, but they couldn't. In order to keep the sea creatures from eating what was left of him, they began to throw rice into the river, hoping the fish would eat the rice rather than their beloved poet. The anniversary of the event was marked by throwing rice into the river. But after about 200 years, the ghost of the poet showed up, expressed his appreciation for the annual offerings of rice, but pointed out that very often the rice was stolen by the monster that caused floods. The ghost asked that the rice be wrapped in leaves and tied with string. It seems that leaves and string, both of which are high in carbohydrates, were not on the flood monster's diet. Since then, eating dumplings filled with glutinous rice and wrapped in bamboo leaves have been part of the festival. The dragon boat races commemorate the search to save the great poet. They also demonstrate the Chinese devotion to cooperation and teamwork. Dragon heads and tails are on the boats. Taoist priests bring them to life with incense and firecrackers. Each boat has a helmsman, a drummer, 22 oarsmen, and a flag catcher. Teams come from all over the world to take part in these races. A process of elimination produces a winner. There are over a dozen important ritual holidays in Taiwan, and they fall throughout the year. So no matter when you are visiting, some festival will be going on. A festival designed to enhance your well-being and drive off evil spirits. I'm often reminded of something that Winston Churchill said. We make a life by what we get. We make a living by what we give. For Travels and Traditions, I'm Bert Wolf. If you'd like to see this program again, or any of the hundreds of programs we've made for our public broadcasting stations, visit bertwolf.com or the Bert Wolf YouTube channel.